we join.
Yes, and you're married with?
Yes, I'm married. I'm married. My husband is Isaac Jabali Hakula.
All right.
Yes.
Amazing. It's
Yes.
good for even our audience to know that.
That's
Leo
true,
tunapata wisdom and experience at the same time.
That's
true.
right.
Yes. So I go ahead and read this.
Yes.
So today we are reading from John chapter 15, verse 9 to 12. And it says, I'll start with verse 9. I have loved you even as the Father has loved me. Remain in my love.
Yes.
10 says, when
That's
you...
okay.
So
Stop right
I
there.
think let's break it bit by bit.
Let's break it down.
All right. Okay.
I have loved you.
Even as my Father has loved me. Remain in my love.
Remain in my love. I think we need to understand that even as we talk about love in the month of love, let us first focus on the love of God.
Right.
Because he says, I have loved you even. So we need to understand about the constancy of the love of God. Because that's where sometimes we miss it. We don't understand that God's love stands, it's unconditional. Whatever happened, he loves you. Whatever you go through, he loves you. I have loved you, even as my Father has loved me. We need to just understand that. The unconditional love of God.
And you mentioned constant.
Constant, unconditional.
Sure. That's deep, huh?
Once we sort that out, then let's go deeper.
All right. So 10 says, if you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love.
That's true. You see, when you hear, if you keep my commands, people think, jana niliteleza kwa hivyo, I don't know whether I qualify for the love of God.
Right.
But do you know it's much easier to comprehend the love of God if you just, or even to obey his commands, not because we have been told, if you do this, you will not go to hell. So because we are so busy running away from hell, it's so difficult for us to comprehend the love of God. But Charity, if I spend so much time with you, do you know I learned to do the right thing because I love you? If you spend so much time with God, Ndiema, out of that knowing the love of God and spending so much time with him, you will learn to love in fact, you will begin to love what he loves and dislike what he dislikes.
Right.
Not because it is work, You enter into the realm of Joseph, where Joseph says, how can I do this to God the Father? Not because he's fearing anything, it's just because he said, I know I have spent so much time with God, and because I know what he loves and because I know what he dislikes, out of the understanding of the fact that he has love for me, then I will do the right thing. Not out of fear, out of love.
Out
Right.
of love.
But probably before we move to the next
Yes.
scripture, I want to understand that a bit better.
Yes.
So when you talk about intimacy,
Yes.
let's even leave alone God, but I know
Yes.
we'll come to the other part.
That's true.
But every time I get to know you,
Yes.
every time I get to have time with you,
Yes.
I get to build my relationship with you,
Yes.
I get to become more intimate.
In fact,
with you.
I start speaking like you, Ndiema. You get it,
Yeah,
eh?
even
I
though
get it.
unasemanga unafanana na huyu
Unafanana
wife
na
wako. Juu mko pamoja sana.
mko pamoja sana.
You're working
Inacha
together,
kukua
you-
job, Ndiema.
Yeah.
Love inacha kukua kazi.
Yeah.
You understand, eh? We are not running away from hell. It is you're
Yeah.
just spending more and more time with him. As you
Right.
spend more and more time with him, you become more
More
and
like
more
him.
like him.
I love that. Yeah. Juzi nilikuwa nimepiga picha na wife, pastor fulani akakomment akasema, one of you smiles naturally, another one supernatural. Now I know. So I think the more you get to spend time, and spending time will be in prayer.
In prayer. In fact, let's not go over. To say the word
Yes.
worship, because
Uh-huh.
it is your spirit that worships.
Right.
And then, let's not complicate even spending time with God and being intimate with God, Ndiema. It's as simple as, when was the last time you stopped and looked at the formation of the clouds and you're like, oh my God.
That's you.
So it's recognizing
It is
God
recognizing
in
God
whatever
and
is
just
around
spending
you.
time with him. You know, when you talk prayer, people complicate it.
It looks,
You want, especially in Black Africa, where, you know, we are rakabashantaraka zorokota, you know, but it's not all that. Sometimes, imagine it's just the intimacy of getting to the
God.
place where you experience God not as a father only, but
Yeah.
as the lover of your soul.
love
Then you begin to allow him to feel your heartbeat just as much as he feels your heartbeat.
Amazing.
I
That's
feel like, you know, sometimes we relate to God like the earthly father.
Father,
And
yes.
sometimes we don't have perfect examples of
Of a
earthly
fa-
fathers.
yes.
So sometimes we might see maybe how my dad treats me is the same thing I am thinking maybe God is going to treat me.
Yes.
And that's why sometimes when we sin, or as you're saying, when we don't follow the commands, sometimes we feel, oh, kama vile babangu alikuwa ananichapa, God is somewhere waiting with a cane to, like, you know, cane me. So how do I comprehend this love? What is it like, this love of a father? For me to be able to know the love of God is constant.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying we need to stop boxing God as just a father, and also seeing him also as a friend, and also seeing him as the lover of your soul. You know, takes you back to Hosea chapter 2 from verse 14 to 18, where God says, he's speaking about the children of Israel, and he says, I will allure her. Can you imagine? God anakukatia.
it sounds interesting when you say it that way. But I mean, it's a relationship.
It's a relationship.
Yeah.
It's because we have really boxed God. So had to understand your dimension ingine ya Mungu. But God just desires to experience us even in all these ways that you can fall and you're like, God, I am so sorry. God, help me. I may not know how to do it. Spirit of God, help me.
Right.
And as you continue spending, that's how now you continue overcoming, not because you're running away from hell again, but because you are learning to experience the love of God in a deeper dimension.
Amazing.
Tuendele na
Alright.
maandiko.
So verse 11 says, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete.
In that your joy may be complete. The joy of God actually resides within your soul. Where as a result of you drawing from the love of God, and then what happens, your soul is divided into three. There's the emotional part, which is your feeling part.
Right.
So then because you're experiencing the love of God, you begin to feel the love of God, and now joy becomes part of you. But then your mind, which is part of your soul, because your soul is divided into three, so your mind, the thinking part, has to comprehend. You begin to think and understand the love of God. And then the will, the action part, now begins to, because your will is now submitted to the will of God, what then happens is that then you begin to act in the way that he would act.
Wow.
Now that is the realm where now you begin to experience the fullness of the joy of God. It stops becoming work.
Wow. It's another level, yeah?
Oh, I've read this part that says, my commands are not burdensome.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You
it
get
ceases from being work.
It ceases from being work because it's coming from your spirit,
Right.
because now you're communing with God in worship. Then it's coming now into the realm of your soul, where now your emotions are so deeply in it, you begin to understand the love of God, you begin to comprehend the love of God, your mind can comprehend it, and then now your will is, because it's submitted to the love of God, you begin to act like God. Now love stops becoming work.
Wow.
Now, because you
It's
have
a
entered
joy.
into that realm, yes, it's a joy. So you begin to see yourself differently. Where it's not about nilifanya, sikufanya. I know the love of God. I understand that he loves me. Therefore, the way I see myself is different. Do you know the reason why people many times struggle with even understanding or comprehending the love of God is because they don't see themselves correctly?
Wow. That's true.
So if you're able then to enter into the realm where now you think thoughts, positive thoughts towards yourself, now that also helps you with the flow of also just being able to flow with God. Now emotionally now also, I mean at the thinking level, now you also are able to love others because you think well of others. You see, if you have a hindrance towards the way you see yourself, you see other people also from the same. If you have low self-esteem, you think. Yes, you get what I'm saying.
We kama we ni mwizi unaona watu wengine wote ni wezi.
Yes, kama uko na low self esteem unanika kuna huyu mtu ako na shida na mimi, na hata kuna kitu ako na shida na wewe. So huwezi mpenda.
True. Wow. You know,
Yes.
I mean, that's a very different level of understanding. After you have you've gotten into a position where you can comprehend that love
Yes.
so deeply.
Yes.
You then are in a position to reciprocate. And
You
to
give it. If I get reciprocating,
Yeah.
that it comes to the realm of giving, dear ma.
Right.
You give it. Even, you know how now we are told love others, which is, you've taken me ahead, but it becomes easier to love others. Dear ma, you enter into the realm of loving like Jesus. He served the multitude, strangers. He didn't know them, never was going to see them again, but he loved them because he had access to the overflow.
Eish.
I love that. I love that. Let me read the last verse.
Yes.
My command is this: love each other as I have loved you.
Love each other as I have loved you. So then now, moving from the spirit to the soul, where you're experiencing joy, and then now, because it's coming from the inside, unabubujika kusema kwa Kiswahili, it now becomes easier for you to be able to spread it to people.
Because you have experienced
Because
it.
you have experienced it, and because you're tapping into it.
Right. So Judy, what you're saying, and we'll be taking a break in a short while.
Yes.
What you're saying is that when you have understood
Yes. And you live in it.
and you're living it, the true agape love
Oh, yes.
of God himself,
Yes.
then that lives in you. And therefore, that overflow becomes so natural to love people
Yes.
and to enjoy.
And to enjoy.
doing the love,
Yes.
loving.
Love.
I think
Totally.
I feel like you can never give what you don't have.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if you don't have that love, if you haven't understood it, if you're not complete and whole,
Yes.
because now the things you've told us are bringing us into wholeness, where
Yes.
you get to understand yourself first.
Yes.
When you understand the love of God, you have now gained the joy of God is complete also in your heart. Then you're able to give that which you have received.
Yes, as a matter of fact, what happens is because it is in you. Have you ever met someone, you don't know them, they walk into a room, but there's something about you that makes you like them? It's because of what is they're carrying on the inside. It is the joy that is on the inside. So they walk into a room and everyone is like, they're able to